Hey guys, Boy here, and today we're going to talk about how to land good black holes. People said they wanted a more in-depth guide on how 11 achieved the 95% win rate with Enigma, and the first thing I can say is that his build almost never changes in all of the 20 games. Necro, Arcanes, Blink and BKB are core items, and the Blink BKB is why landing black holes is so easy for him. For you to understand why Enigma changed from auras to actually casting the ult again so often, you have to remember that even though Midnight Pulse is magic damage, it still goes through BKB, and it does more damage than it did before, even after being reduced by magic resistance. Also, Black Hole got incredible buffs. It went from 200 pure damage to 400 at level 1, 600 pure damage at level 2 versus the 400 from before. This hero is a big threat with that spell again, and we're gonna learn how to land good ones. I have a pretty simple formula for landing them after watching 11 win so many games, and it kinda goes like this. 1. Can the enemy save your black hole targets? 2. Do you have damage dealing heroes around you? 3. Can your black hole be cancelled? 4. Are the heroes your black holing good enough? So I know this is a lot, and some answers to some of the questions are a little bit nuanced, so we're going to cover each question on some place so that you can better understand what I mean. Let's watch 11 in this game. This is one of the few black holes without BKB we're going to talk about, and I think this one is important because people in general are way too passive with this hero. 11, as soon as he gets his blink, starts looking around the map to see where he can fight. While mid is juicy with 3 heroes packed, it's nighttime, so getting close enough without Night Stalker seeing you is almost impossible, and then he TPs bottom. Looking at Dire's draft, they clearly have no saves, and Sky is TPing bot with Riki already there, so they do have the damage. 11 had vision of 3 heroes mid, so if he lands a black hole on the 2 heroes bottom, the chances of the black hole being cancelled are very slim, and he is ulting a position 2 hero, meaning overall, he is following the formula pretty well. He dies here, but he set up a good fight, and he spent his black hole. I think a non-spoken rule that we should add is to just use black hole more often. People are way too passive with this ability, especially in the early game. This is another black hole from that same game, and it just goes to show how sometimes Enigma players are way too afraid about how they use black hole. We already talked about how Dire has no saves, but we start this fight with 3 Radiant heroes dead. But the key part of it all is that his Quap is full HP and has Sonic Wave available. It's really important that Magnus is in the black hole because even with BKB, RP has the potential to cancel 11's ability, and if we actually check the black hole itself, it didn't hit the best targets, only offlaner plus support, but because they fight inside the Midnight Pulse, and Quap only ults after black hole is down, because that can take people out of it, they take an amazing fight. This is one type of game where you're always fearing for your black holes. Playing Enigma versus Warlock is super annoying because not only Fatal Bonds can make it really hard for you to ever initiate, even with BKB, once you get your black hole going, it can be cancelled from super far away, and it's rather unlikely you will be hitting Warlock with the black hole anyways. This is usually the best way to black hole against that type of hero. 11 is on a different side of the map, pushing a wave and showing, while the fight is still close enough for him to either walk or TP to it. Once the golem gets used, he instantly TPs even though black hole is not ready yet, and as this is happening, his blink dagger is flying to him. There's only 2 heroes alive, and the only stun Void Spirit has gets used, so he can easily black hole the right target. I really like talking about this type of black hole because I feel like it's underused. There's 3 heroes dead at the moment, 11 has 2 ally heroes nearby, and Morphling TP's middle. Morphling is a hero that doesn't die easily because of his attribute shift, but in this case, because they have a long duration stun like Shadow Shaman, this can still work even though not a lot of people are hitting during the black hole itself. So we know the enemy has no saves, his damage dealing heroes are kinda nearby, and they can keep morphing inside the Midnight Pulse. His black hole is unlikely to be cancelled because TPs to the tower are slow, and Warlock was respawning when he went for it, and Morph is obviously the strongest hero on the Dire side. It doesn't matter if 11 dies here, and he even gets lucky. Warlock ults, which means the next black hole he goes for will have a window advantage over the Warlock, which ends up winning the game in the end. In this replay, Dire has no BKB piercing abilities, but they have OD's Astro as a save, and eventually Ursa will have an Abyssal Blade that has the potential to cancel 11's ultimate. In fact, Ursa already has an Abyssal, but watch how 11 plays when his Shadow Fiend gets initiated. Ulting here not only is unreliable because of Ursa's ult, but with SF this low, he cannot offer the damage on Rule 2, and 11 also has no idea where OD is, so he chills and they kill the Ursa. There's 2 things to take away from this clip. The first one that relates to the last one we talked about. Sometimes solo black holes are awesome, and sometimes they are uncalled for. In that last one, not only 11 knew for a fact no one could stop him, he had damage waiting for him. In this case, he had no idea where OD was, and at the same time, if SF stands his ground there, who knows what could happen. Another thing worth mentioning is how he rarely uses Midnight Pulse without black hole. As we talked about, Midnight Pulse is even stronger than before, and it's an integral part of your damage when you ult. After that fight, NP tries to contest the outpost top, and 11 and some friends decide to contest it. In this case, he does use Midnight Pulse, but because he has BKB over this Orchid, and he can black hole if Nature's Prophet overstays his welcome, and once Shaker shows up, that's just an easy black hole. He did not knew where OD was, but not only he had vision of Pugna bottom and knew Ursa was dead, he had numbers advantage, and so this fight was overall on your favor, and it also just goes to show you don't actually need to follow every single rule, but overall, if you follow 4 of them, it's unlikely that your black hole is going to be bad. Before we actually see the black hole in this fight, we need to address the fact that Radiant is smoked. 11, after he gets Blink BKB in almost every game, always smokes with his team once black hole was up. Just because of how strong the ability is, and how after the cooldown reduction talent, if you get a core kill at this stage of the game, where heroes take about 90 seconds to respawn, the window that the enemy has to fight when black hole is down is small. So, while they hear Roshan dying here, the Aegis was not picked up. And this is really an exception case where even if OD is around, as long as he holds whoever is in the pit, his team can actually steal the Aegis, and that's exactly what happens. OD saves Nature's Prophet, but at the end of the day, the black hole was effective, and they win the game out of it, even though 11 dies. Obviously, these rules aren't flawless, and as we just witnessed, you can still do well without following all of them. Guys, thank you very much for watching, commenting, and subscribing. If you want to get my rates for coaching, you can always DM me on Twitter to get everything that you need. If you want to learn how to play Dota, maybe you don't like playing Dota by yourself, we have a Discord channel with people from all around the world. Check it out. If you really like these videos and you want to go to the next level, we have a Patreon with a ton of rewards, maybe check those out. And finally, if you want to see me stream or play Dota, you can follow me on Twitch. Have a good one, guys. Bye.